الله نحمده تعالى ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن بالله ونشكره ونعوذ به من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان سيدنا ونبينا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى اله واصحابه وكل من اهتدى بهداهم واستنى بسنتهم وقتفى اثرهم الى يوم الجزاء والدين. My dear brothers, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He creates whatever He wants and He chooses whatever He wants. وَرَبُّكَ يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيَخْتَارُ. He mentioned in Surah Al-Qasas, Allah creates whatever He wants, وَيَخْتَارُ, and chooses whatever He wants. Nor for them was the choice. مَا كَانَ لَهُمُ الْخِيَارَةُ. So Allah Azza wa Jalla, He chooses from His creature whatever He wants to give it the status whatever He wants. He has created mankind and He has chosen amongst the mankind our community to be the last and to be the best community. He has created mankind and He has chosen amongst the mankind the prophets to be the best of all mankind. And He has chosen from the prophets the messengers. And He has chosen from the messengers those of determination, the 5 messengers. إِنَّا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ كَمَا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى نُوحٍ. And He has chosen Ibrahim, Musa, وعيسى, and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to be the 5 prophets, and messengers of determination. And He has chosen amongst those 5 of determination the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to be His last and best prophet. And He has chosen the best book of all the books that He has revealed to His Creator. He has chosen the best book, the Quran, to be our book. And He has chosen the language of Arabic to be the language of the Quran. So taking care of the Arabic language is synonymous of taking care of the Quran itself. Because of this relationship with the Quran, the Arabic language, and our scholars have preserved it and have made a huge effort in establishing the rules of the Arabic language, in preserving it by writing dictionaries, by establishing the grammatical rules, by establishing the conjugation rules. They have made a huge effort in order to preserve this language. They didn't leave a single discipline that is connected to the Arabic language without putting a huge effort in facilitating it. And today, the Arabic language is preserved and we are able to speak the Arabic language today in the same way as it was spoken at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Let's just talk about some of the relationship between the Arabic language and the different disciplines of the Islamic studies or the different parts of our religion. And if we take the first part, which is Quran. So if we look at the link between the Arabic language and the Quran, the link is very strong. Allah Azza wa Jalla has revealed His book in the Arabic language. Not only in the Arabic language, but in a strong Arabic language that defied the people of the time of the Prophet ﷺ, who were at their utmost eloquence at that time. Allah Azza wa Jalla has revealed His book in this language and defied the people of the Prophet ﷺ with all their eloquence, with all their knowledge in the Arabic language. And He has defied them to bring something similar to it. So the link between the Arabic language and the Quran is very strong. So many of our scholars have talked about this link. I'll just give 2 quotes from 2 of our predecessors. One of them said that the Arabic language is from the religion, and the knowledge of this Arabic language is an obligation. It's not something that we just take as we could do. It's a must. Understanding the Quran and the Sunnah is an obligation. We need to act upon understanding. It's by understanding the Quran, by understanding how the Prophet ﷺ has practically implemented the Quran, that we can act upon them, that we can implement the religion in our life as well. And this understanding can only be in the Arabic language because the Quran has been revealed in the Arabic language and the Prophet ﷺ, he explained it in the Arabic language. And whatever it takes to complete an obligation is in itself an obligation. Another said, the one I see, and this is Imam Malik, and early in the Islamic history, Imam Malik has already said that the one I see doing the explanation of the Quran without knowing the Arabic language, I will make him an example for the people around him. This goes to show the strong relationship between the Quran and the Arabic language. If we look at other fields as well, let's look at the Sunnah, for example. The link between the Sunnah and the Arabic language is strong as well. How can we understand the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ? How can we understand this implementation, this practical implementation of the Prophet ﷺ if we don't understand the Arabic language? And reporting a hadith by the meaning might change its sense, might change its meaning. Reporting a hadith, for example, by the meaning, not by the literal word of the Prophet ﷺ, might change the meaning of the hadith. So many scholars of the hadith have put strong conditions in order to avoid people from doing so. So for example, if we look at Mizzi, Sheikh Yusuf Mizzi, he wrote a book of hadith. And he put in the introduction of that book of hadith that whoever wants to look or to read this book must have a good level of Arabic language. And then he cited its grammar, its sarf, the conjugation, and other disciplines of this language. If we look at other fields as well, the Aqidah, for example, the belief, we realize that people who have deviated in the belief, the people who have deviated in the belief, people who have come with interpretation different than what Allah Azza wa Jal wants the meaning to be, people who have deviated in the interpretation of the Sunnah and went with a different meaning than the Prophet ﷺ wants it to be. The people who, for example, deviated from the meaning of the early predecessors who have lived with the Prophet ﷺ, who has seen that implementation of the Prophet, who has seen what the Prophet ﷺ meant with his words. The early companions, for example, the people who have deviated from this way, they have deviated strongly and mainly because of their weakness in the Arabic language. They tried to implement or they tried to force the text to say that which the text didn't mean. And this is because of their weakness in the Arabic language. And we can cite examples, for example, of this if we want, but just for the sake of keeping it short, we will inshallah ta'ala move to another discipline. Another discipline is the relationship with the fiqh. The fiqh, which is the practical implementation and the Islamic law, the rules by which we should live our life. If we look at the fiqh, for example, the scholars they put as a condition for the one who comes forward and put himself forward as a mufti. And it's not a word to be taken lightly. We hear in today's time so many people bearing this title of mufti. Mufti is someone who has the authority to issue a legal opinion on behalf of Allah. It's someone who can say, Allah wants this rule to be this way. So our scholars and our predecessors, they put strong conditions for the one who wants to bear that title. And one of the first conditions that they talk about is the knowledge of the Arabic language. These relationships just show how strong the relationship and the connection between the Arabic language and the different disciplines of the Islamic study or the religion as a whole. So, if this relationship is so strong, and if the Arabic language is so important, what do we need to do? We need to learn it. We need to pay the effort that it takes to learn this Arabic language. And do not say that it's late or I don't have the time. If you want to achieve something in your life, you will find the time for it. For example, if we look at the Islamic history, and we know that Muslims, they started from a very small space in Hijaz, from a very small space around Mecca and Medina. And they expanded so quickly. By 100 years, they have gone all the way to the Sassanians, to the Iran today, and they have gone to the west, all the way to the North Africa. Those people who have accepted Islam, and those people, or those lands who have been conquered, they have turn to the Arabic language. Because they wanted to understand Quran. They wanted to understand what's this new religion that is coming to them. They wanted to implement this new religion in their lives. They wanted to trade with this new religion. They wanted to understand the language that the Prophet ﷺ was speaking with his companions. And they have made the necessary effort to learn it. And today, for example, this land today speaks Arabic, while most of it, historically, it was not the case. So they have made the necessary effort in order to adjust to their context. And today we see, for example, people who are coming from a different land to live in the UK, or people going from the UK to live in a different land. We see that as soon as they come to the UK, in order to integrate themselves with the culture, they start by learning the language. And we see people, for example, if you go into the ESOL classes or any English classes in the UK, you will see that people very old trying to learn English so that they can integrate themselves in the society. So that they can understand the people and the daily life, what people are saying. And there is not a better understanding than understanding the Quran, than understanding the Sunnah of the Prophet. If people are willing to make that effort in order to integrate themselves in the daily life, they should make that effort in order to understand their religion. إن الله اشترى من المؤمنين أنفسهم وأموالهم بأن لهم الجنة. We have been created to worship Him, so we need to understand the language through which we are going to worship Him. And I'll just finish with the Quran, for example. Many people, they read Quran, being in the West, they read the translation of the Quran. Nothing wrong with reading the translation of the Quran. But you need to understand that the translation of the Quran is only an approximative translation. It cannot be accurate. It takes a human effort to take the book of Allah in the word that Allah has revealed them in and to translate it in another language. So it takes the divine nature of the book. It takes the divine nature of the book being revealed in the language that Allah has revealed it in. It adds that human effort, which is subject to the right and the wrong. Someone can make the effort and can be right in the meaning he wants to translate. But he also can be wrong in the meaning. That's not probably what Allah has meant. So this just shows that we need really, in order to understand our book, in order to understand the book that will make you successful in the hereafter, not the book, not the rules or not the language that will make you successful in this worldly life, but the book that makes you successful in the hereafter. You need to understand the Arabic language. So let's make the necessary effort in order, inshallah ta'ala, to learn it, to start implementing it in our lives, start reviving this Islamic aspect in our lives. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا أصلح أحوالنا في الأمور كلها وأجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين.